Why, hello everyone, and welcome back to Nullius. This is Otaku's Showboat, and last time we met, I finally got my safe water fill set up. It's over here. Hello, water fill. I set that up. I also set up monocrystalline silicon and had a look at various other things. What I want to note here is I had a discussion about the compressed carbon dioxide, and I just want to make this completely crystal clear. If my goal is compressed carbon dioxide, I have zero reasons to make it out of compressed air. Because it's a lot of power. In particular, even after, despite having fewer buildings here when using a surge compressor too. The normal surge compressor would be, or normal priority compressor, would be 23. It would be 12 surges, it would be 6 priorities, and it would be 4 surge compressor 2s. Look at the power despite all of this. Yeah, the power doesn't change much now, does it? And that's the biggest concern I have. Because by comparison, if the goal is to get compressed carbon dioxide to hell with the nitrogen, I don't give a F about the nitrogen or the compressed residual gas. All I want is the carbon dioxide in this scenario. The alternative is to do the basic of basic recipes to convert air directly into nitrogen and carbon dioxide and then compress it, because using the surge compressor to compare apples to apples here, comparing apples to apples, it's the same number of buildings plus more for filters. Yes, there will be more power through air filters here. It's actually another 3 megawatts for air filters here, another 2 point some odd for the air filters here. You need fewer air filters. Woohoo! You need fewer air filters at their 150 kilowatts each. Marginally fewer. This is nearly an entire order of magnitude difference in power. And that's the problem. The primary problem. It should not be better for me to compress carbon dioxide into compressed carbon dioxide. There should be a way of directly making this stuff without having to compress it through this basic recipe that we've had access to the entire game. There's no better way with tech of doing this that I can find at this point in time. There is not anything even remotely better than this. You have compression, you have carbon monoxide into dioxide, which the point of the dioxide is to get monoxide, so there goes that out the window. So I don't see it. I don't see it. There's only really 2 options here to me, in my mind. There's only really 2 options, and the better option is to just compress the uncompressed stuff. And that's a shame. That should not be that way. Why is it this way? Because apparently this is somehow designed, balanced around the nitrogen. And you know what? Screw the nitrogen. Just make it 9 kilojoules for all I care on fuel value. I don't care about it. This whole thing is just bad. Frankly, it's just bad by comparison to the other methods. Also, we can't make surge compressor 2s yet, or priority compressor 2s yet, because we need fiberglass and epoxy. Those are two things we do not have at this time that we are going to be working towards getting into today. That is the main major discussion I wanted to have right at the start because it came up in the comments. Also, what came up in the comments from the same person is a useful bit of information, which is barrel pumps. Barrel pumps uncompress. Decompress. They do the decompression. I don't know why. What is it really used for doesn't show this. At least, I was blind to it. It's here. I was blind to it. It is there. There is decompression. I was merely blind. Also, you need to kill the water from you if I want this to actually keep moving, right? How did that make so much monosilicon before backing up on the... Oh, because it's 500 units of water. That's why. Hey, you know what's great? I can do this now. Ta-da! This is a 3x3. As long as there's a 3x3 unit of water underneath, you can just plonk a single outfill on top of it, and voila! There you go. It's glorious. Absolutely glorious. Now, maybe there's a use for the compressed residual gas. Maybe it's balanced around the compressed residual gas recipes on the compressed air processing recipe. Maybe it's actually around that residual gas, but especially since this is steam and that makes it inherently easier than this outputting water to do this here. You see that big difference in that this outputs steam? It's just odd to me. I can't see why it had to be that the compressed air to compressed nitrogen and CO2 is just worse from a power perspective than just compressing the thing that you're trying to get. Maybe in the case that you're trying to compress both the nitrogen, the carbon, and the carbon dioxide, it would be better, but no. I have zero interest in that. At all. Like, you're something's gonna vent sometime anyway. Like, there's a hypothetical where we do that compressed carbon dioxide, where we do this compression out of comparing apples to apples, this one. Say I want 200 of that. I don't know if this will show me how much is compressed. No. Why? Because I don't tell it how much I want? I'm not telling it how much I want? Yeah, that would be it. And then this would have to be then... Oh! There's no residual gas compression recipe. You can't just compress this. That's an oversight, for one. And it means that I can't do a fair apples-to-apples comparison. In terms of the power requirements here. We're gonna have to do that and then link input. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Now, yeah, that and that is gonna be more power overall than this. That's what it's been balanced around. It's been balanced around making use of everything. which is completely counter to how I play this game, and I think is counter to how a lot of people would be doing this in the first place. So I guess our only real use for this compression recipe is if for some reason we're making a factory that's going to be providing nitrogen, residual gas, and carbon dioxide onto the train network, and then voiding the overflow of all three to keep it moving at all times. That's the only way in the world that this is even remotely going to be better. And I am just going to say screw that, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do that. I refuse. I will be directly venting all of the nitrogen, if I want CO2, from this recipe. I will be directly venting all of the CO2, if I want nitrogen, from this recipe. And of course, if I need the residual gas, I will be directly venting the other two things. Maybe the compressed residual gas one will be the one that I end up using for the residual gas, just because that's what I want and I can vent the other two. And this other thing will give me steam rather than water that I can vent if I need like argon or trace gas production. That will be that discussion ending right there after 14 minutes. Congratulations, we've had a lengthy discussion today about all of that. In the between videos here, I have gotten this little boxed ingots, aluminum ingots online, using the power of the water fill. I am now able to have a voiding setup that I can just plonk. In fact, I now have a blueprint with the water tiles that I can just place on the ground. Now, it won't actually ghost tile the entities that are on top of the water tiles. I would have to go a second time after placing the water down to actually get the ghost entities. For whatever reason, Factorio does not like to have a ghost entity on top of a ghost tile. This would apply to the reverse scenario where you are placing landfill on water. The game does not want to also have a ghost building over the ghost landfill. Here, it doesn't want to have the ghost building over the ghost water because it cannot guarantee that the order in which things are built is going to be water than building. There is a case where the building might try to get placed first and fail, and we don't want that, so just do it in 2 phases. And that is going to be able to deal with, well, mineral dust in that particular blueprint. This is mineral dust voiding, however we get into the mineral dust, either stone to gravel, or in this case, iron to gravel to dust, crushed iron to gravel to dust. What am I going to do today? Well, we went over a few things that I needed, I thought anyway. I want boron. I want boron. That is the first thing I want today. Now, I believe I have a boxed version of this available to me. I'm going to need this. And then how many boxes do we want? 1 box is the equivalent of 5. That's a lot of volcanic gas, but you know what? We will go with it. I am going to want this to be productive. Very, very productive to reduce the amount of volcanic gas that I need ultimately. So I can keep... Oh, you do produce sulfur dioxide. I could make the other stuff out of that. But no. I can vent sulfur dioxide directly, as well as the air, as well as the carbon monoxide, just to get this boric acid out. Boric acid will be needed on my bus. Or it will be needed for hard glass as well as boron. All of these things are on my bus. In my mall, on the train. I guess I can call it a train bus at this point. It is in my big train station. All three of these, I believe, all three of these. So boric acid, as long as that's online, will be good. And all it needs is to make the hard glass. And the hard glass, wouldn't you know it, is needed for fiberglass and insulation and optical. For glass fiber, for fiberglass insulation and optical cable. These things are all things that are used in mall. So, I see no point in having dedicated factories for any of these. In fact, looking at the boron as well. Yeah, I'm thinking all of this is just mall at this point. How about we just bring in our volcanic gas to the mall and process it into boron? That sounds like a great idea. I don't know about you, but this seems like the thing to do right now. Remember that my intent is that I will be making the physics apparatus in my mall. Just as part of this, all bot-based, this big bot area, likely going to extend down into here at some point. And that will be one step closer to having actual batteries and deleting this whole thing from the face of existence and replacing it with grid batteries. That'll be glorious. I've already sort of calculated how many grid batteries that I need with the specific solar panels that I have. These solar panels are actually slightly better than vanilla solar panels. It rounds the values to be nice and even. I need 14,000-ish grid battery ones for my close to 20,000 solar panels. How much space is 14,000 grid batteries gonna take up? I have no idea. Probably more than this, but you know what? This is more UPS intensive, as far as I'm concerned. I'd rather have 14,000 grid batteries. Alright, let's find a free thing over here. Also, yeah, all of my wastewater is being sent out through this guy right now. That's produced in the mall. It's glorious stuff. Okay, all the way over here. You am volcanic gas. Who would have thought I'd be bringing the volcanic gas to my mall? And just thinking about it, I believe that the progression here is going to be going rather quickly. So I really want to have a lot of these broader balanced discussions by this point in the game. All these various different options for balance. Oh, and by the way, just one last thought here. Even if I'm going to use all three of these products, and I have the thing going at all times, and it is theoretically better than this, by how much, really, is it better? Because here we're looking at twice the buildings, and not half the power. But you have to be using all of this stuff. If you're not using all of this stuff, that massively swings things back into this thing's favor over here as opposed to this. That's... yeah. That's where the intent is. It's not some thing like burning this nitrogen. That's not what this is balanced around to get into this recipe. That's really only balanced around making use of all three things output from this. That's... only then will that be viable. And you know what? I have my doubts as to how useful it will be for the vast majority of people. I really don't see that being standard for how people actually play. Not with those things. Not when it's so easy to get into them and the source is an infinite thing out of nothingness. I can understand with oil and oil products, it's a thing that you have to mine, you have a certain amount of it. You want to make sure that you use all the things out of it. It's limited in its ability to obtain. Different scenario here with the air stuff, because air is air. It's however many filters you put down is how much air you have, right? So there's this fundamental difference between these two, to the point where I am willing to spend the extra power and have the extra buildings overall, because I don't want to have to deal with a system where all three things get used and have to somehow finagle things around to use all three of those things. Like, I am not going to put nitrogen on my trains. That's just not happening. That's just not happening. I can make it on site. Why would I bring it by train to where I need it when I can just make it? And I can just vent all the things. Alright, where is that train with the volcanic gas? Hello? Train? No path? Ah. That would explain a lot. Hey. Path. Come here. Oh, right, I guess I should have these. So I was thinking about these specific signals, thinking, do they actually work? And for the intended purpose. And ultimately, the answer to that was not really. Not really. So, or maybe. The answer is maybe for me, because when a train goes by, after it clears a train length of set, they go yellow. You see how they're yellow here? Watch it turn back to blue as it goes by. That means that other trains that need to go in here can theoretically also come in directly behind this train as it's going in towards the end. But that means nothing if the next train in line needs to go further down, which from my experience over here has been the majority of the time. The train, if two trains are coming in at roughly the same time, the game is going to send the train to the shortest destination first, which will block the next train from continuing and going on and falling behind. It won't fall behind until the entire line is free to get to its destination, which sucks. Now, I've done a little trick down here on the exit that will aid with allowing more trains to leave at the same time. Just regular rail signals every train length is going to have that effect that will allow the trains to leave more quickly without headaches. Multiple trains can now be on this segment at a time to leave without having to wait for any one train to pass by the signal out here. So that's that discussion. I have the volcanic gas now. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to pin this. I need 10 distilleries. Oh boy. And then I'm going to need 4 of these dudes. That's not going to be the spacing on those distilleries. I can't use that spacing. Why? Because overhang. Because overhang. Is this really, like, not needed? Like, inefficient use of chimneys? Yes. Yes, it is. Do I care? No, I don't. They use 0 power. I don't care. Each of those chimney 2s can eat 500 per second of stuff. I really don't care about any of the gases out of this. What I care about are the boxed solid outputs, which I'm gonna put over here. Where's all... Oh, my bots are doing their job. My constructo bots are doing their job. Give me one of these. 2 of these down here. Now, you also need aluminum ingots. Aluminum ingots. You produce alumina. I have not taken that into account. Okay. You produce alumina, which means that I need to take this into account. .28 plus 0.67 is 0.95. So that means... Oh, wait, what? That's a lot more than 0.67. Yeah, I don't know why this is telling me. There we go. That's more what I want to see here out of Hellmod. Really, I want to see out of Hellmod the amount I need of the ingots, more so the amount that I'm going to need of the alumina boxes. Hey, I have alumina boxes, right? I've got those. Well, I have alumina here. But I made the boxes specifically for this recipe of the aluminum. I very specifically made aluminum boxes for this. 0.47 times 5 is 2.35 input of alumina. I should have that. Yes. Okay. That is the next thing. I will need to request alumina to box. I need a small assembler. Small assemblers do boxing for alumina. Put in that request of several hundred. That will make up to 2 alumina boxes per second. And I need to make sure that I always use the output alumina from here. Filter the alumina that way. Which will go into whatever the processing is. These setups here. Where will those be? Actually, those will be down here. Step 1 is this one, excuse me, is... Step 1 is this one, where I will need 1 building. The building will go there. I have decided this will come in down here. Give power. Now it's input priority right. Okay, the other thing needs to be boxed graphite. I have graphite being made as graphite. And it's available in the mall, so it's just a matter of boxing said graphite here in the mall. I need this. Power. Give me the power. Now that's going to make ingots and carbide. So if I output here, I'm going to need to filter ingots. And it's making boxed ingots. And then the carbide combines with the remaining alumina boxes in... Oh, and I didn't yield these. I need to yield these. It's still one building, thank goodness. And I need to yield these as well. Huh? Okay. So it is 2 of you as well. And this will output solely... Meow? I had a dolly? I heard a meow behind me. These will output solely these ingot boxes. Now, it really doesn't matter as much the input priority here on these boxes. Are you making? Yes, you are, in fact, building. Doesn't necessarily matter about it because it will, the alumina... Oh god. Really? I need to request even more at a time? The bots are that slow? Right. Okay then. Alrighty then. Also, in case you hadn't noticed, I have added in patron names and additional member names at this point in time. I can go and check. Do we have more members? Do we have more than 10? We have exactly 10 members on the channel. Just so you're aware, if you are a member of the channel, you can get your name here on the train stations, as well as if you are a copper tier patron or above, you'll get your name on a train station here. That... Oh. Excuse me. Ingot boxes. Ingot boxes. Okay, now we go up. And now we input on these. Output. Pipe. Bearing in mind I will need this stuff as well provided on my network. That will need to be provided on the network. Boxed, please. There you go. Enjoy! This is coming in this edge. That will get preferentially used. That will not. I need a lane balancing act done here somewhere. That's better. Give me that in there. Give me that in there. And that will be that. I just need to split off some of that into a thing. We'll do some limits on the boric acid boxes. They stack to 50, so do these. I want more boron than I need anything else. We now have boron! Huzzah! We have boron boxes. Yay! I can make ceramic powder now with silicon ingot boxes. I need to put a train. I need to get a train going to do that. Yeah. So let me put in a ceramic powder boxed recipe for 1 per second. That's gonna need 83 nitrogen. Yeah, the compressed to regular is right there. Like, huh? Finger. That one. There we go. Now, I think with boron, that will be where we end things off for the day, folks. We are on our way towards getting into the ceramic powder, as well as getting into hard glass, fiberglass, and textiles, so that we can make things like pipe 3s, like the upgraded compressors and upgraded versions of many other buildings, for that matter, as we work our way as well into slightly stronger modules, etc., 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 and eventually into the physics apparatus, which that thing is only made in this boxed version, and it needs all of these. We're already making nanofabricators. We just need to make all these other shenanigans in the mall here. We'll see just how these basic versions of these products are, how much of these are needed in the grand scheme, because you know, it may turn out that things like this should actually be done separately and brought in by train into the mall, because they're needed in such great quantities that it would be like all the space ever. But for now, with that, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Show, but if you've enjoyed today's video, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff down below. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, and hit the notification bell. Consider becoming a member of the channel by hitting that great big blue join button and supporting on Patreon at patreon.com/otakushowboat if you're so inclined and able. I will see you all on the next one.